Hey y'all, welcome back. Well, today's video is going to be back on the L4701. So I got my light bar in today and I got my mirror. I'll put the link in the description below, but I'm going to attach them to this 80/20 that I put on the front of my tractor, or that I put to box in my canopy, one of my Frankenstein canopy. And I'm gonna go ahead and get that ready, and we'll do an unboxing and show you exactly what we got. So y'all stay tuned. We're gonna high-tech redneck this 4701. All right, now this is a nightlight LED light bar. Y'all know that I'm big on nightlight. This is a 32, I think. And it's the slim line. So it's longer this way, and vented here, comes with extended brackets. So your cooling bars on the back are longer than what you would normally see on one. But this ought to work out really, really good on my front of my tractor. It should come out to be just about perfect length. And so that's one of the things. And this one did not come with a switch or anything. I'm planning on wiring it myself. But there's the kit with the bolts. Now I probably will have to drill these longer brackets out to 5/16, a little over 5/16, so I can put it in that 5/16 18 T-bars, or T-nut. So like you seen in the first video, well, actually, the rear light video, I use a T-nut similar to this. This is a 5/16 18 thread, and I'll be using these little stainless bolts. These are 1 inch. I've got some 3/4 here, but I'm going to be going with the drop-in style T-nut. So you actually put it in the 80/20 or aluminum T-slot, pop it in place, and then slide it to the desired point. And then of course, from this side, you'd run the bolt through and it clamps down on the aluminum T-slot rail. So I think what we'll do, I'll go ahead and set it up, camera up. I'm gonna drill these light bar brackets and drop the T-slot nuts in, and then we'll get that front light bar on, see what it's. Now, these brackets that come with this, I'm gonna use the long ones that, you know, will hold the light further out, and I'll be able to tilt the light down just a little bit so I don't get a lot of glare off of that bottom of that light bar. But the bolts I'm using, this is a 5/16 18. The bolts I'm using are actually they'll almost thread in, they're just a little bit too small. So I've got one chucked at the vise here. I'm gonna go ahead and drill these. And I'm gonna use a 5/16 drill bit because it's a true 5/16. There we go. And that should give us enough room for it to go through. Be a nice tight fit. All right, so I got both of these drilled. We'll get to the mirror in a minute. I want to go ahead and get my T-slot nuts in. Now, the T-slot, I was talking about using the drop-in T-nuts. I actually won't have to do that on the top because the front channel is open. It's boxed in from the back of it. So I'll go ahead and we'll get turned around here and I'll slide these T-slots in. We'll get these brackets mounted up. We're going to face them out if there's enough clearance to put. Okay. So since this is open, I'm gonna take my normal T-slotted nut and just put it in the side here and go ahead and run it in. Same way on the other side. Then, these are 1 inch long 5/16 by 18 bolts. So I'm gonna be putting a washer and a lock washer on it. That will give me more than enough through this to hold this bracket tight. So all you gotta do is line it up with the T-slot nut, run it in, that's finger tight. There's one. This slotted aluminum makes things so much easier. And then I want to take and do the other bracket facing the leg out. just like so. Then the light kit from Nilight comes with these hex head, Allen head bolts that go in the end. Also has a lock washer and also has a washer. Tool is supplied with it. So we're going to take and get one side started first. So go ahead and load up our bolt. Just like so. I'm gonna run wire down because I gotta go under this 80/20 to do my wiring. But as you can see, why I chose the low profile light, because it's the same width as the 80/20 is gonna fit right against the canopy. Now a lot of you are gonna try to correct me and say that's T-slotted aluminum. Yeah, whatever you want to call it, it's fine with me. When we ordered it at work from Frame World, it's called 80/20. So, same thing. I'll push this over here. Scoot that bracket out a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this where this bracket's straight and go ahead and snug the Allen key bolts, or hex head bolts. And what we want to do, I can still tilt down. So I'm gonna tilt down just a little bit so there's not a lot of vibration. We'll make sure that my brackets are square on both sides. And then I wanna make sure my gap is the same. And it is not. So I'm gonna loosen this up a little bit. Okay, slide it to where it's, I'm trying to line up on this bolt configuration. So this bracket's on the outside of this bolt. This bracket's on the outside of this bolt. That's close enough. I'm gonna go ahead and impact these in. Impact this one in. Light bar is gonna set pretty flush to it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this down. Now that looks really good. Of course, my wiring will run, I'll either drill a hole through the 80/20 and run it through, but it'll snap in that 5/16 rail and it'll stay hidden. So I'll probably drill me a little hole from the back and run this wire through to start with. But I wanted to get this mounted first. I need and see where this lines up. But you can see what I mean by this T-slot material. It makes mounting stuff super. That turned out really clean. I mean, that looks really, really good. Good. See what it's gonna look like from the front. Yeah, that'll look good. Welcome back. Well, the parts finally come in. The Nilight switch box. We've been waiting on it. This one here comes with the blue switches and the voltmeter. And what I'm gonna be doing, it comes with its brackets and everything, and it's T-slotted similar to what the 80/20 is. So it's got the little bracket, and it comes with all of your little stickers you can put on for whatever accessory you're running on it. And of course, let's see, and of course all of your bolts and hardware. And as you can see, this thing is a very well built box, and it's got where it can slide back and forth. So that's going to be huge. Now, the reason I'm starting to take it apart is because it's got blue switches, and I know this is kind of picky, but I want to get orange switches to match my Kubota. So I bought a couple switches that are actually already laser printed that says LED light bar and one says rear light bar. So I'm gonna change these out. It's pretty simple. I'll spin the camera in here and show you just what I gotta do to swap the switches out, and then I'm gonna put it back together, and then we're gonna get this thing in and get it wired. It's gonna be pretty cool having everything ready to go and be finished up. So as you can see here, it's pre-wired. So by the instructions, you've got, let's turn it on here. You're just supposed to go to the battery with hot and negative, and then these two wires run out from your switch to your accessories. So that would be rear and that would be front. Of course, they've already terminated this on the inside, so we're gonna open it up and you can kind of see how that lays. Everything's drilled and run out the back. It's got a standard rocker switch, wired like Nilight. Really good wiring. Love the way they do their switches and stuff. But I ordered a set of orange switches from Nilight, and I'm going to replace these right fast. And that way I've got one that says front light or LED light bar, one that says rear light bar. And then of course my voltmeter will be right here. So, and you can see it's very simple instructions of how it's supposed to go. You just got how you terminate it to battery and then your accessories out. This is showing a 6 gang, but 2 gang, 3 gang, 4 gang, whatever you want. It's pretty simple. So go ahead and I'm going to pull this out of the box like so. Get my switch ready. So all red run down the bottom. You got your whites coming off the very bottom, which is your accessory wires. And you have all these that are already looped and jumped, and your grounds are on the top. So we'll go ahead and pull all these off. There's actually, it's got a press thing right there on the back. So you can just squeeze it and pull it right off. That's cool. Tell you what, Nilight thinks of everything. So now I got all them off. You got these 2 press clips. You just push them in. There we go. That's how they come out. You just gotta press these little clips here on the back. And they've got 2 notches. That's why I was having a hard time with it. It's got 2 little notches. And then just take your new switch, put it in place. I'm gonna do the LED light bar first. There it is. So we'll go ahead and put it all back together, that boring, and then we'll go to the tractor. So, as you see in the last video, that's the Nilight box. And so, I would like to mount it flush, but with all the wires coming out the back and it being sealed, I'm gonna go ahead and use the bracket. So, the bracket will fit really tight down to the wires. It's T-slotted on the sides. So it's a little different than what the T-nuts and slot that I'm using is. So basically the nut itself, the bolt itself goes in and rides wherever you need it, and then you tighten the nut up on the outside. So these holes will not work. So we're gonna have to do the exact same thing that we did with the mirror brackets and the exact same thing that we did with the light bar. So I'm gonna go ahead and punch these. I won't bother you with them. I'm gonna go ahead and punch here and here. I'm gonna go ahead and punch even on both sides to where I can drop my T-nuts in, and we'll get this bolted up and start the wiring. So I got those drilled. They're ready to go. And so we'll move out here and put the T-nuts in and drop the bolts in. Okay. So, just like I showed before, T-nuts. Whoop, drop that one. Put that in place. Yeah. Got a bolt and a washer. That ain't gonna work. I can done tell that ain't gonna work. It's gonna be too close to the top. So we'll go in here. Just like that. And the reason I did that is because I was looking at the bracket. It's not going to let the box will touch the rust. So we're going to have to put it down. It's not ideal what I wanted, but it's close. You'll still get it up out of the way where limbs won't hit it. All right, now, looks about right. That's in place. Now we'll do some wiring. Well, it looks later in the day, and that's cause it is, because I actually found a mistake that I made that I want to correct and save y'all some trouble. So I'm actually going to have to go back in the video and edit out the part where I hooked it to the battery. I did not know this at the time till I got to tracing wires, because I couldn't make my relay work right. My relay would have been up here, and I've done got enough stuff overhead up here that I don't need the relay up there. I wanted the relay somewhere where I could get to it right here behind me. I like to have the fuse where I could get to it right here behind me. So after tracing some wires and got to looking, Kubota has a plug-in right here for a work light that is terminated to the switch. It has a 10 amp fuse that comes back here. I have a 40 amp fuse on this light, and my relay is hooked up. So, quick note, the way I done this, if you look at the relay, the switch wires on your relay, the white and the red have to go together if you're gonna run the relay in continuous up to another set of switches. So I just pulled back on the relay, clipped the white and red wire, soldered them together, put my sleeve back on, plugged my relay in, and now I have everything run the way I want it. The only thing I do not have done at this point is taping everything up. So we'll get back to the video of what I've done so far in hooking it up. Got my switch box. Use the bolts that was supplied with the box. Bolts, washers, nuts, and lock washers. Go ahead and slide the nuts in these, or the bolts in these slots. So the bolts do go in it. You just gotta open it up to get it in. So you might have to force it a little bit. There we go. Because the nuts will not go in, just the bolts. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten this just to kind of hold it in place. This finger tight, just enough to keep it from falling out. There we go. And that'll allow us to hook our light wire up. So as you can see here, that's gonna be all of our grounds. That's gonna be the hot wire out to the rear light. Yep. And this one's gonna be a hot wire to the front light. So make these connections, hook all these grounds together, and then show you what the finished product is. All right, well, I got it. Everything is routed the way it's supposed to be. I just ran out of black tape to shield this stuff with. So I'll show you one more time. So the main hookup is right here in the factory plug, this right here. I will probably end up ordering this other end of this plug from Kubota. It's just female adapter. You just stick your 2 pieces in it. So I'll probably get that clip that goes there. But as right now, it's hooked up that way and locked in. Wires go around. They come up right here at the back of the fender and go, which I will wire tape these, but there's my fuse holder. And then there's my relay mounted. Comes back around, goes up the back of the bar. I didn't want to drill into my rocks. Back up the bar and then turns in. They're all tied together and clamped there. Go all the way across and around in front of the switch box, and I'll show you that in a second. The back side, I just got the wire run in this rail all the way down to tight to that one. I have to cut that zip tie off, but I've got all that tied in nice and neat and tight where nothing will grab it. And then as far as the front light bar, I actually ran it, when I lengthened it, I ran it in the track all the way across and down to here. And this is the back of the box. So like I showed you earlier, main power, main ground and all grounds tied together, accessory 1, accessory 2, relayed at the back. So now, when I turn the switch on, well, I'll show you like this. So when I turn the switch on, I get power. That's how many volts my battery is. Front light bar, rear light bar. And I ordered these switches in orange so they would match my Kubota. But from the cockpit area, that is what it's going to look like. So now it probably helps everybody to see why I put my mirror over just a little bit more to the left and turn my panels this way so that it wouldn't be in the way of my switch box and I have plenty of room. So the only thing left to do really is finish taping those and bracing all that off and getting all my wire attached in here and here and cut my zip ties and taping this up. So this is daylight, but we'll kind of give you an idea of what the light looks like. So that's definitely going to give off some light. And I love that I've got these run through a relay. And then we'll go ahead, turn them off and flip the back one on. Those turned out sweet. This thing's gonna look like a UFO in the hayfield. Everything, it's got a 40 amp fuse back here. It's got a 10 amp fuse down here, which I will change to 20. And that's basically it. So this turned out pretty good. This will be all the accessories I think I'm gonna add to Kubota for a while. We'll probably do a 1-year review. I'm almost up on a year of owning the Kubota. Everything that I've done so far has turned out pretty cool. You know, I've got the front light bar now. I've got the 3-panel mirror, the night light, gang switches, and of course the pod lights that Nilight kindly sent me. So this is what it looks like from the cockpit. Oof. And you can see my volts right there. And I can open that up for my USB or my lightning charger for an iPhone. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this Kubota series. It's been a lot of fun making it. I did put a lot into work tonight, a lot of work in tonight that I did have to do that I found out later, but I'm glad that I found it so I could pass it on to you and you don't have to make the mistake. So for the Kubota L4701, I think we've got about everything on it we need. Maybe a few bracing, got some implement equipment we're gonna be restoring for food plots soon. And I hope you like what we're doing. If you are, drop what kind of tractor you got in the bottom. Drop a comment. If you made it this far, drop a comment below what kind of tractor you got, what you've added it and what accessories you got. And Nilight, check out Nilight for all of your lighting needs. They are awesome. I've only got one set of lights for free for them, and I've put probably 100 on different side-by-sides and everything else. They're really good quality lights. So there'll be a link in the description below for everything I used, all the way down to the zip ties and the wire holders. So y'all go check that out. Click on the description. If you want something, buy it there. I get a little bit of bounty off of it. But as always, God bless, and we'll catch you on the next video. See ya. Man, that was a job.